Wow, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. I don't know what's worse, the jersey or the fact that would fit Shaquille O'Neal. Why is that the biggest jersey of all time?
Yeah.
What Temu website did you get that from?
It is. I am wearing a Travis Kelce jersey right now, which is 100% fake.
That would be too big for Travis Kelce.
That's like a Jason Kelce size.
Yeah.
My friend.
How long have you had that?
Just like a year, maybe 2 years. And I'll tell you why. My friend, who actually just won the very.
Oh my god, dude! Sorry.
You don't like that? Feel that shit, baby.
Feel that? I don't even. What is that? Just.
The most flammable material.
Yeah, that's not good.
My friend, Jay. If I respected him more, I wouldn't say his name. But Jay likes to buy a lot of fake shit online, and this was one of his fake purchases. And
did you lose a bet and then you had to get that?
He just showed up to I think it was actually a Super Bowl party I threw in the past 2 years, and he just showed up and he was like, "Hey, here, this is for you."
Damn, that was probably the Eagles game too.
It might have been, yeah. So I kind of and then ever since then he started dating Taylor Swift. So I'm like, this is even trendier than ever.
Yeah, but you should never wear that outside.
I never have.
This is the extent of what you can do with that
I will
jersey.
just show the entire world now that I have. It's like 6XL or something.
Yeah, that was made in like a first world country.
Temu is a good way to describe it.
Yeah, it's super Temu.
Yeah, let's roll these.
Oh, now you look good.
You roll the sleeves up to show.
Because now they fall back down immediately.
Shut up. To show my biceps. Here we go. The guns.
Wow. What a jersey.
Yeah.
You should have told me this was going to be like a football thing.
I didn't really think about it too.
I have a green hat I can put on.
Go for it.
Kind of feel like I'm having a good hair day though.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You don't mess that up.
Yeah, I can't.
Because this is gonna air the day after the Super Bowl, so you're either gonna have, when this drops, you're either gonna be very happy.
I'm either gonna watch it or not. Damn, that is a crazy pull. What's funny is the bottom is the mesh, but then it just stops.
Oh, you know what? I never noticed that.
It's 3 different materials in a shirt because they ran out.
That's so weird. You're right. I don't know why it does that.
Because it was made for negative dollars.
It's nothing but profit.
Nothing.
All right. I only wore this for you, so I hope you.
I thank you. Don't wear that for anyone else. Because that should go right back to where it was. What gave you that idea that you were like, yo, let me put this on for the pod?
Well, I only thought about it while I was looking at stuff to wear. And I knew it was going to be right after the Super Bowl. And I knew that you were obviously rooting for Philly.
Obviously.
Are you a Philly kid, born in Philly? Or
yeah, born and raised, everything Philadelphia.
Not is it like a suburb of Philly or?
It's like it's the northeast Philadelphia, so it's I'm 2 minutes out of Fox Chase, which is Philadelphia.
Okay, so would people that live in Philly be like, yeah, you're from Philly?
They would allow it. I'm on the edge. I'm on the border of. If I walked down to the end of my house, Philadelphia. If I go back into my house, not Philadelphia.
What's the equivalent? It's not like you're claiming New York City but live in Long Island.
It's like Ridgewood. Ridgewood's technically Queens, but you can say Brooklyn.
I guess. I don't think they do.
No, they don't, but you could. I mean, New York's different because it's all the boroughs are the city of New York City. But if Queens wasn't New York City, people that lived in Ridgewood would be like, yeah, dude, I live in New York City.
Okay, if you say, I'll take your.
Yeah, and I also lived in Ridgewood, so I'm a bit of a border guy. Not great timing to say that on the pod.
If ICE comes in and you're the one,
yikes,
out of here. Ridgewood's actually just a block away. If we walk one more block, that's Ridgewood.
But right now we're Brooklyn, and if we walk one block, it's Queens.
We are technically Brooklyn. I'm jealous that you've seen at least 2 of your teams win in your lifetime, and you're trying to see a third.
Yeah, but you're saying the Phillies and
Eagles, right? Yeah. That's all.
Yeah. 08 was crazy because Philly hasn't had a championship in my lifetime. So when the Phillies won, it was just wild.
That was your first one. How old were you in 08?
13, 12.
Damn. Did you witness any of the TVs flying out of apartments? Did you hear about this?
No.
Philadelphia fans were celebrating by throwing their TVs out.
Hell yeah,
the
dude.
window.
Celebrate now, worry tomorrow. That is Philadelphia.
No, that kid couldn't worry tomorrow.
No, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, how do you fall off a what is it, like a street sign?
Yeah, I think it was greased.
What?
Yeah, but I'm like, how did he get up there?
Greased?
Yeah, that's what they do. So they deter
so they
people
don't
from
climb
climbing
it.
them. Yeah.
Wow. Philly.
Not just Philly to put that in. Like other cities do that
I
as
thought
well.
it was just Philly.
I mean, didn't the Chiefs in their Super Bowl parade last year, like 2 people died?
I think you might be right.
I think there was like a shooting.
Is that what it was? A shooting?
Yeah, but since it's not Philadelphia, let's not talk about it.
Yeah, we don't want to push that
No.
narrative.
Plus, they were like, they're going to be back next year, so like,
Let's
try to keep this under wraps.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I remember, I think the Eagles Stadium back in the day was like the first stadium to have a jail in like the
In the
actual
Holiday
stadium.
Inn, right here to the Holiday Inn. It's funny. I literally just watched that Always Sunny episode.
It's a great episode.
Yeah. Nah, dude, there is. There's a jail. There's a secret passageway.
But that was to Citizens Bank Park, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the World Series.
Oh man. So but you're a Sixers guy. Like
Yeah.
that's the
huge
championship
Sixers.
you want.
Yeah, more than anything. But it's the championship that I'll never get.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's where
At this point.
I've just like, and I'm a big sports fan. So like when I was growing up, the Phillies were unbelievable. So I was like huge into baseball, and that's when I was playing. Then I stopped playing, and I was like, all right, like I'm still a Phillies fan, but not as much. But it's definitely like I watch every Eagles game and every Sixers game that I can get.
Yeah.
You know.
And this is the year that like Philly fans are done with Embiid, it seems, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
last year he still had some.
Yeah, like it's 13 games in a season right now, and I'm like, we gotta just do something. The
Yeah.
Sixers made a trade today, though.
Oh, what'd you guys get?
Remember Quentin Grimes?
Yeah, he was on our team. He
Yeah.
was a Nick.
Mhm.
You guys got him?
Yeah.
He was what was he on? Was he on the I don't know where he came from actually.
Dallas.
Oh, that's why I saw
Yeah.
him recently in the lineups after the Luka fucking.
Yeah, and then they lost by like 46 in
Who
the
did
first game.
the Mavericks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Granted, AD didn't play,
That
but
tracks. Yeah,
yeah.
but he's injured too. Anyways, Embiid. Oh man, I was jealous of you guys for a couple of years, but
yeah, it quickly faded. I read a report that was like the Mavericks traded Luka because there was fear that he would become Joel Embiid. Like, what's up with the shade that we're throwing here, dude? We don't need that.
yeah, man, that I don't know if he's as injury prone, but he might be as I don't know.
He's like kind of getting fat though.
Yeah.
They said he like reported at 270
Mhm.
at some point. I'm like, bro, how is that man 270 pounds?
I kind of hope LeBron starts whipping him.
Yeah, you would
Whipping
think that he
him
would have
into
to.
shape.
Like, if there's anyone that Luka would be like,
If Luka doesn't listen to LeBron in terms of like conditioning,
Right.
then he's just not gonna listen.
nobody.
to
And what
anyone.
better dude to listen to than LeBron?
Yeah, that's
the-
trying to pass you the torch.
Yeah, he's
to the greatest,
the king of longevity.
to the
you know?
greatest franchise in the NBA. Probably.
Yeah.
you know, like
And you
if
have the
this
keys for
doesn't
the
work,
next 10
dude.
years.
Yeah, if this doesn't work, then Mark Cuban, I don't think would have let that happen.
No shot, dude. No shot.
No.
I don't even think that ownership even was really aware that Nico Harrison was going to make that trade.
Nah, I don't think. I mean, they had to have okayed it, right?
Yeah, they did, but they like Nico was like, when I first told him, they laughed at me,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Nah, I'm for real."
Yeah, this is the type of trade that, like, literally, it's starting to trend on Instagram. It's the type of trade that like NBA 2K is even like, nah, this is not fair.
Not even
Doesn't
close,
make
dude. Not
sense.
even. This is the craziest trade in sports history.
Yeah, they've been trying to find other equivalents, and the fact that it's like a mid-season trade.
Yeah, out of nowhere for
Yeah.
a guy who didn't try to get traded.
Yeah,
It's
It's insane.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented. I think the closest thing I've heard is like someone was like, "Oh, back in the day, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was traded in his prime." It's like, all right, I'm sure that
Cool,
was
when there
a
were
big
6
deal.
teams, dude. Awesome.
I'm sure
when
that was a
people were
big
going
deal
off to
then. But
war.
like, if we could think about a little bit more recent times, the only thing they could really come up with, I think, was like Pau Gasol, ironically, to the Lakers as
Weird.
well.
Do you remember that deal?
I remember when it happened. Yeah, I didn't realize like it was going to be as impactful. Like I didn't think it was going to lead to 2 championships,
Yeah.
but I did think that like, oh, Kobe finally got something he
Like
can
a
work
guy,
with,
yeah.
because that was like during the years where it was him taking 80 shots because he had nobody.
Right. And as much as he probably loved that, I think he was like
Secretly, kind of.
Yeah,
No.
secretly. That motherfucker, dude.
But he wants to win at the end of the day.
Yeah, he does. Like I thought him and Shaq were just the coolest because they never got along. Never.
Dude, if they did though, it should have been like 8 titles.
Yeah, it could have been at least 4, 5 in a row.
Yeah, I think so. And Shaq acknowledges that after the fact. But I mean, he's someone that also he used to piss me off in terms of his ability to stay in shape. Too.
Yeah.
I mean, Kobe said it too. Kobe said if Shaq had Kobe's mentality,
Yeah,
he'd be the
dude,
greatest.
I had Kobe's mentality. If anyone, dude, if literally anyone, if Matthew Dellavedova had Kobe's mentality, he would still be in the league. Kobe was a psychopath.
Yeah, dude, I was before like I was doing this podcast, and I had like another version of a podcast. I would do episodes sometimes. Actually, the first time I did an episode alone, like without a guest, I used to have all my fantasy football league members on as guests.
Okay.
And then on like episode 8, I just did one by myself, and I took acid while I was doing it. And as I was like peaking on acid, I learned on the air in like real time that Kobe just died.
Wow.
So that was like
You were like, did I do it?
Did I trip that hard?
Oh my God.
It was surreal. It was, I had to like, after like a while of recording, I had to like step away and like actually be impacted.
Were you a big Kobe fan?
I was, but, well, I'll say I was a fan.
Okay.
But I don't want to say I was a big fan, that I was like huge, that he was my everything. Because I feel like after he died, everyone was
so
the biggest Kobe
corny,
fan
dude.
of all
It's
time.
so
right?
corny.
But I had a little personal reason that I did. I had an affinity towards him, and it had really nothing to do with his game. Growing up, I had a classmate whose first name was Bryant, Bryant,
Yeah.
and he was the nerdiest, most awkward person I've ever like met, perhaps in my life to this day.
Wow, there's a lot of nerds that you meet. You
Yeah.
were saying this dude is,
Because we went to the same high school too, so I saw him from kindergarten to 12th grade.
and it just got worse.
It never improved.
Was he
Yeah.
smart?
Yeah.
All right, well there you go.
Yes.
You ever like meet one of those kids that's just like the nerdiest dude, but also not good in school, and you're like, where
you
are
gotta
we
pick a
getting
lane.
better? Yeah.
Yeah,
What is your thing?
Yeah. That doesn't make sense at
No.
all. Nerdy and stupid.
Yeah.
That's
unfortunate.
yeah. You have to be good at least one of those.
Something.
Two. So this guy nerdy but very smart. But his name was Bryant. So
Yeah.
I always figured my middle name is a stupid, nerdy, lame middle name.
Wow. Okay.
I never used Bryant. I was always just William Hernandez, and I hid Bryant. And then Kobe Bryant started becoming this like cool fucking basketball player. And suddenly Bryant was more associated with one of the coolest players in the league, and not my classmate that went to St. Michael's High School or St. Michael's Catholic School in fucking Flushing, Queens.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, oh, Bryant is a cool name. And one day I just switched my Facebook name from William Hernandez to Will Bryant, and the rest is history.
The rest is history, ladies
Nothing
and gentlemen.
ever changed in my life, but
And now Bryant original is like 6'5". He's really cool.
no,
And
imagine
Yeah,
he
right.
like had one of those.
he
ugly-
also changed. He was like, if Kobe can do it, so can I.
can I.
Yeah. I hated Kobe Bryant.
Why? Oh well, Philly.
He's just
Well, because
so shockingly
even though he's
overrated.
a Philly kid,
Well,
there's no
yeah,
pride there.
yeah. No, dude, he's the most overrated dude ever. It's such
Lower
like,
Marion High School.
Lower Marion High School. Yeah, son of Jelly Bean Bryant.
Is that real?
That's his. It's not his dad's real first name, but he was.
Is
in the
that
NBA,
why his
and
middle
that's what they
name is
called him.
Bean? Then?
Yeah,
Which is the weirdest middle. Kobe Bean Bryant.
yeah. But now it makes sense.
Because his
dad was
dad's
Jelly
name,
Bean.
his dad's nickname was Jelly Bean.
Yeah, Jelly Bean Bryant. Who was actually he was solid. His dad was
Imagine his
pretty
name
good.
was Kobe Jelly Bryant.
Yeah, Jelly Kobe Bean Bryant. Yeah, I hated Kobe, and I thought it was like, I remember when he died, I was like, damn, that's crazy. That sucks. Like, I wonder what happened. But like then everything coming out and being like, oh, he's the greatest player ever. I'm like, let's not overreact now because he's dead.
You're
Like, let's be honest.
rein that
He's
back
top
in.
10. He's
Yeah.
good, but he's so incredibly overrated.
Being from Philly is like Dr. J in your like
No,
You don't give
I
a
was
fuck about
negative
Dr. J.
46, dude. That man means nothing to
I thought
me.
maybe like you grew up with family or older people.
Yeah, my
that-
dad loves him for some reason. He's like,
Does he?
Wilt and Dr. J are the greatest players ever. I'm like, Dr. J was 6'6", could dunk,
Yeah.
and would never be good in the modern landscape
Well,
of the
most
NBA.
of those people probably
No.
wouldn't.
Like, even Kobe.
No.
Bro.
Oh, no.
Bro.
You don't think Kobe would be good? That was just 10 years ago he was playing.
The NBA is expanding and changing at a
Get
rapid
outta
pace.
here.
No,
But
Kobe.
the mentality, the Mamba mentality.
Whoa, the mentality.
You just
Who
said-
gives a shit, dude?
Oh,
This is my
man.
thing. Everybody just locks on to this like narrative about this dude, and they're like, "Yo, he would be the greatest ever, like all the time." He was not really that great.
Kobe wasn't really that great.
I think statistically, if you look at him in fourth quarter of playoffs, you would be surprised at how below average he was.
So in like the oh shit, I knew this was cracking. This might just break during the middle of our show. Let's see. You're causing me to break my material.
Wow.
Well,
I think it's the Chiefs jersey.
the
I don't even want to call it a jersey.
the
The Chiefs shirt.
the top.
Yeah.
The what was I saying? Oh, so in the narrative that like Jordan's. Well, I don't even know if you think Jordan's number one all time.
You just take a wild shot in the dark, given everything that I've said. Do you think Jordan is my number one player ever?
No, I don't.
Absolutely
Actually.
not.
Oh man,
Bro,
so it's LeBron. Then?
It's not even remotely close.
Okay, fine. Oh God.
Not even remotely close.
How old are you? For the record,
28.
that's so okay. So literally a decade. A decade younger than me. I'm 37. So
Yeah.
9 years. So that might be the difference.
Of
right
course
there.
it is. People want to hold on to their generation.
But you're okay with putting Jordan second?
Yeah.
So then Kobe's not your third.
No.
Oh, who is? Oh, you don't have one like lined up.
Not lined up.
Because the question would then be like, all right, if you don't think Kobe's all that, but then like, who do you think is better than?
I think in this, it might not sound great, and I don't know if I 100% mean it, but I think Shaq is neck and neck with Kobe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Kobe's probably top 5. I think Magic
He
it's
is
got to
or
be
isn't?
up. Isn't.
Oh wow.
I think Magic's probably
Above
above
Kobe.
him. You got to have probably Kareem.
You were just saying like, oh yeah, negative 46 years.
Yeah, but
old
like
when
I
this
still think
happened.
like everything that they've done for the game and like stats and like ability to be the leader, can take a team to the finals, do it on their own.
All right.
I just don't think Kobe's that great. I
Oh,
don't,
wow.
dude. I don't. He's so overrated.
Wow.
He's a great player. He's a Hall
Yeah.
of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. But like, he's not even in the stratosphere of the LeBron Jordan debate.
Wow. He's no Embiid. That's
I think
for sure.
KD's better than Kobe.
Wow, really?
I don't know.
You're
I don't know.
already-
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
I think as a player probably yeah, but I hate KD too.
I'm
man.
not I've gotten into very spirited.
I'll take
debates.
Steph over Kobe.
Steph over Kobe. Huh. He revolutionized the game more.
Yeah.
Than
Well, I don't
Kobe
think
ever did.
anyone has revolutionized it less than Steph. I think Steph is the most
In our lifetime, probably.
outside of Wilt because they didn't have like goaltending yet, and he was
Yeah.
just standing at the backboard just
Was there no
swatting dudes.
goaltending back then?
What's up?
Was there no goaltending?
It
back
came because of Wilt Chamberlain.
then? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if that's true, then yeah, that makes sense too. Because I would have put Wilt there anyways, regardless of knowing about the goaltending rule.
Yeah, just basketball was different. Like 3 seconds in the paint wasn't a thing until Will came around.
Hmm.
They were just like, "What is this dude? Who made him?
Yeah.
How is he this big?"
Ah, damn. Did you play basketball growing up in Philly?
Yeah.
You were a baseball guy.
Yeah.
though,
I
right?
played baseball in high school, and then I played basketball for a year in high school.
To play 4 years of high school baseball.
Yeah,
That means you're pretty good. Like you're not just
was
playing
alright.
like little league. Like it's not something like I played baseball where as long as my mom paid the fee, I got to play. You know?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I was good enough, you know.
second base.
Yeah, around like middle infield, sometimes corner outfield.
How are you guys?
Nasty.
Really?
Yeah, we were really good. I had a kid a year younger than me that I played with in high school that got drafted out of high school.
Oh, okay.
Like the
Wow.
32nd 33rd pick in the MLB draft.
He played with you guys?
Yeah, he was a year younger than me. He
Oh,
was
wow.
he was really good.
Okay.
We had a bunch of dudes go D1. Yeah. I mean, I was like a bench vibe guy. You know, I was coming in like,
Bench
yo,
vibe guy?
yeah, I was like, yo, let's get some good seeds in this thing. I'll pinch run for you. I'm fast.
You were the one like that had the best chance during the game and shit. Actually,
Yeah.
you know what? That might have been. So I was on a team with mostly Spanish players,
Mm.
and Spanish benches do not shut up
No.
during a game.
Oh, I grew up in Spanish baseball
yeah.
because I played for Mayfair growing up in the inner city of Philadelphia, and my team was all Hispanic,
Oh, okay.
and the league was all black.
Okay.
All black and all Hispanic, and then me.
And then you
Yeah. But when I was like 13, I was by far the best player.
on the
in that
team,
league.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So like I remember it was like the year Johan Santana won Cy Young.
Okay.
So all the Hispanic kids were calling me White Johan.
You pitched?
Yeah. When I was
Oh.
like 14,
Okay.
13. And I was like,
But not in high school.
nothing alike. No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I never threw hard.
Well, I found your stats.
Yeah?
I'm kidding.
Let's bring them up. It says here you have a 6.79 ERA. Could you explain that for the viewer as Will breaks his own equipment?
Yeah, it's coming apart here. This is what Greg does to me here.
Yeah.
Well, it was time.
Maybe that's like a nice little premonition of what's going to happen to the Chiefs. If you haven't noticed, viewer, I'm rocking the closest thing to a green microphone cap as we have here at Will's studio palace, and he of course has the red for Kansas City.
Which like I don't know if that's a good choice because it camouflages like right into this amazing jersey. that
Yeah,
I'm
the
wearing,
amazing.
so-
It's not even like a red jersey. It's like a weird off orange. They're like, yeah, we didn't have red thread, so
They
we just
ran out of
used
that.
a different orange. It has like 4 different color schemes on it.
I thought it looked all right.
Yeah, no, it looks great, and it's not even wrinkled at all either.
Nah, yeah, you can't tell.
No, it looks really, really good.
Yeah.
I like how the collar is 4.5 inches thick.
It's because when people try to grab it on the field,
Oh, so that jersey's meant for real
It-
full-time football, like
I'm
hand to
not-
hand?
So I'm not sure, but it might be game worn.
Oh, I mean, now that I'm like looking at it, it does look game worn. And if you haven't seen on the back, it says Kelsey, Kelci, so it really could possibly be game worn.
That is fake news. That is fake news.
Oh my God. That is an all-time purchase. I will say, though, I have bought my fair share of jerseys from AliExpress, which I'm assuming is where your friend got that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't buy this.
I bought it. Wait, great story. But during the Ben Simmons college era, dude, I was in love with Ben Simmons, right? In love. Bro, he was so good at LSU. So the Sixers had like -3 wins that year.
Yeah.
They went like -3 and 85. And I was like, the Sixers are going to get the #1 pick. Let me buy a Ben Simmons LSU jersey. So I bought a Ben Simmons LSU jersey from AliExpress. It was like $14 and it looked great. It was the fit, the touch, everything. And then
Okay.
you see the patch that is at LSU is in the SEC and it said SED. I was like, what, dude? We were so close. We were so close.
Did you wear it?
So like what I would do is like get my jerseys and then hang them up on my wall in my room.
You would buy jerseys as decoration?
Yeah.
You were one of those guys.
Yeah, one of those guys.
And you never like wore them.
If I went to the Sixers game, I would wear them.
You would take it down from your wall
Yep.
and wear it.
I have a J. Cole high school basketball jersey.
Is that like his merch?
Well, I mean, he played high school basketball.
But does he sell like yeah, but you
I
can't
didn't buy it from his website. No, I just got it.
Oh,
from,
they
like,
that okay.
I got it in a mall in Texas.
Well, what were you doing in a mall in Texas where you found a J. Cole?
Mall in Texas. I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and we were on a date with her sugar daddy. And I pretended that I did not know her and just texted her what I wanted, and he got her stuff, and I...
Were
Came
you
out,
the
abandoned.
3 of you were hanging out, or you?
Oh, I was just in the mall,
huh?
just playing like off-duty security guard.
Were you watching him?
No.
That would be really weird.
Nah.
So she was just very open about the fact that she had a sugar daddy.
Yeah, he spent like $1,700.
Did he
That
know
day.
that she had a boyfriend?
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
That's a good question. I probably, maybe not. I don't know.
How long were you with this girl?
I was with her for probably like about a year.
And she had the sugar daddy the whole time?
Like, yeah, I guess. I don't really remember the details of He was like, he wasn't even that old. He was kind of like a little bit older than me. But he was like, talk about, yo, it honestly,
So he
thinking
just had
about it,
money.
he might have been Bryant. Because that was the nerdiest dude I've ever met.
He was nerdy.
Yeah, I think it was Bryant.
That makes sense that he would have to be a sugar daddy.
But he also didn't like want to do anything.
He just wanted
to
the
provide.
company.
And I was
That's
like,
what they did, is just
provide
go to
for
the
me.
mall and buy stuff. Like she didn't have to hang out with him.
I mean, they hung out during the mall, but like they didn't hang out after or before.
That's a racket. I like this.
It was weird. It was fun. Got a Nintendo Switch.
It was fun. So you're telling her buy this.
Yeah, I was just shooting her texts.
This guy's like, why do you want a Ben Simmons jersey?
But dude wasn't even asking. That's when you know.
So when did you finally you moved to? I know this answer to this question. I was gonna ask when did you move to New York City, but it was 2020, right?
Yeah, 2021, I think. When was the pandemic?
2020, and then it was coming to an end. Well, we were coming out of it little by little. 2021.
I guess it was 2020.
But like
Yeah, I think
March
it was
2020 is like when it shut down.
Yeah, I think it was October 2020 then.
What a decision to move like during the most uncertain
Dude,
time.
my rent was cheap.
Oh, was that a driving factor or
Yeah.
force?
I mean, I always wanted to come to New York. During the time I was doing a TV show that was going to be profitable for me
in Philly.
In New York, that we were shooting in New York, and it was going to be good, and then it got shut down because of the pandemic. But that's after I moved to New York. So I'm in New York, and I'm like, I didn't have a job because that's what I was doing. We probably shot about like 3 episodes, maybe. Yeah, about 3 episodes.
Do you remember what it was going to be called?
Yeah, it was going to be called Fat Boy.
Okay.
Then it got shut down, and then I was just out in New York. I was living on Wall Street, paying $950 a month, and my walls did not touch the ceiling.
What?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
My room walls
Yeah.
never reached the ceiling.
So there was just space between.
Yeah, and we're talking a big space.
No, but how's there space between your wall and the ceiling?
So because of the pandemic, they turned studio apartments into like 3 bedrooms.
Oh, wow.
So they just put up these walls. Yeah, makeshift walls, and the walls never hit the ceiling.
Wow.
And they were like, yo, if you pay $400, we can touch the ceilings for you. And I was like, I'm not going to do that, dude. I'm just going to rock no ceiling.
But then you lived with 2 other people.
2 other people. I didn't have a job for about 8.5 months, 9 months. I tried so hard getting a job. I maxed out my credit card, had no money. I had like $365 left in my savings account, and my rent is due next month. And then I don't know what to do. I have no idea. I don't have a job still. I'm like, my dad's like, yo, you got to come home. Like, my card was getting declined at Subway turnstiles, dude.
Jeez.
It was so bad. And then StubHub hits me with the $1,100 refund check in the mail because I bought concert tickets that got shut down because of the pandemic. And then I could pay rent. And then I got a job. And then a couple months later, started working at the Cellar.
The Cellar was not your first job.
No.
In the city.
I worked at Equinox, and I worked at like this catering place.
Did you know about the Cellar though before?
Not really.
Really?
Yeah, not really.
Well, so I met you and knew you as we're coworkers. For those that don't know, we both work at the Cellar, obviously. But I knew you were a comedian pretty much like from day one. But
right.
you started off acting, right?
Yeah.
Like actor first, then you tried comedy.
Yeah, I didn't start doing comedy until the Cellar.
Until the Cellar.
Yeah, like the second week, I was like, I should probably do.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that till right now. I thought that like you got into the Cellar because you were like already thinking about doing it.
No.
So you were just pure. Your head was pure acting, and this is going to be a gig that I had. Just a weird gig.
I remember talking to a customer at the Cellar, and she was like, "No one just acts anymore.
Oh,
like you need to do other things."
Yeah.
So like that's also what tries to get me to write and like do comedy and like I mean I love comedy. I would do comedy forever if I could too.
That's not whether or not this person was trying to give you advice. That's not bad advice.
No, it's great advice, and she's also like a reputable person.
Okay.
Where I'm like I listen to her, so it's like okay, like yeah, that's a.
So if you didn't even try comedy till then, how old were you when you started acting?
So my senior year in college, I had a theater class.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, oh, let me try it, because I always wanted to do it, and then it went well. It was good, and then senior year, last week, finals week, I just like applied to go to like acting school, because I was like, I don't want to do my major.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you not go to college for a regular major then?
Criminal justice.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I graduated college. The next week, I'm doing Philadelphia Acting Studio.
Oh.
Yeah.
You,
so it was,
did
like,
you
right
not, when you took theater, did you have to do like a play or anything like
Yeah,
that?
we did like a pantomime.
What?
So it's like a 5-minute play, no speaking.
Okay. What?
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. But we had like an Oscars of all the classes.
Okay.
Yo, shout out to the boy Greg Melly for winning best lead.
Best lead in your pantomime.
Yeah, best lead in a male role or whatever.
Of all the
called.
classes. So this is like a performance in front of your own like classmates and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you're not in front of you're not on stage. You're not on.
No, it's just in the classroom.
So
It was weird.
how long until you start acting in non-school related stuff? Because you've done like some plays already.
Yeah.
You've done like you were already talking about how you almost got, or you did get cast on this show. How long till that started happening?
Probably about like 6 months after graduating college, I would start, like, I would do backstage and then just start like.
You didn't
applying.
pursue it at all during your college career.
No, not at all.
But,
I didn't.
But did you know, like, the moment that I'm done with this, I'm going right back to trying to act?
Yeah, I think I knew when I got into college. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do what my major is.
And it's criminal justice.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I never wanted to do it. So I was like, kind of like, all right, let's just get this over with, and then I can go and try to do what I want to do.
Was there like some made up fucking story in your head that you told yourself, maybe I'll do this with my degree? Like, did you?
No.
It never.
No,
Not even.
never. I never went to class thinking, let me learn this for future.
That's fucking. So
Yeah.
you were basically just buying time.
Yeah, I was just there for the vibes, dude.
Did you party a lot in college?
Yeah.
Did you dorm?
I dormed my freshman and sophomore year, but then off campus junior, senior.
Oh, it's okay. You weren't living at home then any of the 4 years.
No,
right?
no. It's
Yeah.
way too far from. It was like 3 hours from my home.
Where'd you go again?
Shippensburg University.
Shippensburg. Yeah.
I'll give you 2 famous alumni that I think you might know.
Okay.
John Kuhn,
What does he do?
the fullback on the Green Bay Packers. That's a great catch. I was gonna say something, but I was like, I kind of want to see it. You know, I'm kind of here for the chaos. He was the fullback on the Green Bay Packers Super Bowl team.
Kuhn.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then his last name's Grimes. I forget his first name. It might literally be Quentin, but it's a different Quentin Grimes.
Oh.
The dude from the Atlanta Falcons, he was like a defensive back. I forget his name. This is gonna kill me. No, I don't know. I'll think about it.
Going old school.
Wow, we're going rogue, guys. Everybody, for the listeners at home here, Will Bryant, Bryant, is
Very
going handheld mic.
I've never done this for my show.
Wow, that's all I do for
I
my
know.
show.
I know.
For my
For you.
show. For
How do
my-
you like the handheld mic versus this? Like,
I feel like a guest with this.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
good as a guest.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
This is like
That's
you-
more like
host your-
home comfort zone type of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. So maybe I should keep some. What I want is like this thing broke, so it's probably good anyways. Because I wanted to buy smaller versions of this where the mic is just like right here without this
Yeah.
arm sticking at you. But I never thought about that making you feel more like a guest.
I feel like I'm like on NPR
Nice.
and we're just talking quiet.
That we are having as intellectual conversation as NPR.
Yeah, I don't
people
have
would.
conversations that aren't highly intellectual. Yeah.
You are the most intellectual person I know.
I'm
at the
super meta, you know, like very philosophical. You won't understand a lot of things I'm saying.
Dude, I'm speaking of not understanding what you're saying. The first time we met at the cellar, I'm training upstairs at the Olive Tree Cafe, and you are already in your Southern character.
Oh, nice.
And
Did you think that I was Southern?
Not really,
Damn.
because Jack was working that same shift, or like was about to clock in or something like that, or like she was around, and she just the way she was rolling her eyes at you, like I knew 2 things right off the bat. I was like, he's not being serious, and there's probably something between these 2. And then you just kept talking in your Western in your Southern accent, but then you pretty much like quickly gave up the fact that it's an accident. You're working on your character or whatever. And I remember I had this.
That makes me sound like such a douchebag. Oh my God.
So because of that, that was like one of my welcome to the cellar moments where I thought to myself, well, everyone here is like in the business.
Yeah.
It's like trying to be a comedian or trying to be an actor or both.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then just like minutes later, I have to answer the phone for like the first time because I've watched the person training me answer the phone and listening to what she says and how to answer a bunch of questions. And then the phone rings and she's like, all right, you try this one.
Do you remember who was training you?
Annie.
Okay.
And so I pick up the phone and I'm like, Conor Seller, Will speaking, how may I help you? And
good work.
Somebody with what I thought was a terrible like Asian accent just starts like lighting me up. Just goes, you should be ashamed of yourself. Go fuck you. How you let her?
I like that you're doing the accent. I was like, is he gonna do it?
And I'm trying to do it in like an accurate but not super offensive.
Right, like
way.
you're kind of mixing Asian with black a little bit with what you were doing. Yeah.
And then she did this to me, man. I don't know why I went Chicano there too.
Yeah.
I'm just hitting all races.
It's okay. You can do it. You're Hispanic. This is
I can't
all
do
okay
all of
with
it,
you.
Yeah, you're like
in my head. I'm
wish I
like,
could
I'm
do this.
so fucking jealous right now, dude.
So I swear to God, at that moment, I start looking. I'm like, oh, this is how they prank the new guys, and I start looking around for you, and I'm like, he's doing his terrible Asian character now, and you're like not around for a while, and then you come walking out of the kitchen like with food ready to take it to a table. And I'm like, oh, it's not Greg, and I'm like, this is real. Someone is. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on, and I got like 2 or 3 more calls that same day from more angry Asian people. And
wow.
it was the Jocelyn Chia
oh my
Malaysia
God, that's
joke.
so funny.
And people from Malaysia were calling the seller to curse out whoever picked up the phone.
It's funny how like the bad Asian accents you thought were just authentic.
Yeah. Yes.
They were just
I was
actual.
like, Greg's Southern character good. His Asian,
he's got to work on the Asian characters.
not offensive enough.
Yeah, not believable.
It was the most authentic accent I could hear, and I'm like,
nah. Where are you from?
Not.
What part of Queens are you in right now?
Go back to
wow. What a
acting
time
school.
to like get that job and then deal with that because like you haven't had that since.
No
one's just like calling.
No one
multiple
ever
times
called
a day.
me. I'll get on a rare but occasion, but it'll still happen. I do get prank calls of people that think that it's funny to call a comedy club and try some type of joke or whatever.
Yeah.
It never lands or whatever. But
I see what you did there.
no, that's the joke that.
Yeah, I see what you did
I did
there.
not do that on purpose.
Some jokes don't land.
Malaysian
Airline.
people are, if you want to comment, help my algorithm out a little bit, go for it.
I'm on whatever side you guys are on.
On the Malaysia
Really
flight
anything.
controversy.
Really any thought, really. Whatever makes you guys like me more, that's what the side I am on.
Yeah, that's a safe route to
Yeah.
go. Why not? So when did you well, I already asked you when you got into acting, but like when did you go to Stella Adler?
2021.
Okay. So pretty
kind of as
quickly.
soon as I came to New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was like still like 60%, 70% in person and like the other 30 was online.
Okay. Did you know of Adler before you came to New York?
Yeah.
Was that a goal of yours then?
Yeah. I auditioned there when I was in Philly.
You have
I
to
was like,
you have to audition to get into
yeah,
Stella Adler.
yeah. You have to audition and then interview. It's like school. Like it's a regular school, really.
Like 5 days a week?
Oh yeah, it was 40-hour weeks.
Oh.
35-hour weeks.
Oh wow. I'm thinking you go in like once, twice a week for like some
Oh no.
workshop
No,
type
it's
thing.
every day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And did you have a job when you did this?
Not for the first half, but then like I got a job at I think it was the catering first.
Okay.
Or Equinox, I don't remember.
All right. And the auditioning process, what's that like for Stella
Just a
Adler?
self-tape.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a monologue.
Oh, so you're not like, I'm thinking it's like Save the Last Dance. Like you're in front of a bunch of people that are just judging you and writing.
De Niro
down.
came in. It was like a big thing.
Yeah.
So
So
he just does that or that.
so it wasn't like that. Was it nerve wracking or?
No, not really. I mean, no. Like you just had to find something that fit their curriculum and then you sent it in and then I think the interview was probably a little nerve wracking, but I'm not
You don't strike me as someone that gets nervous.
no, I don't get nervous. Especially when it comes to like interpersonal things because I'm way worse on paper than I am in person.
In person.
Yeah, like give me the opportunity. That's like a big thing with acting too. Is like everything's a self-tape now. There's no more in-person auditions. I mean, there are, but it's not as much. And I'm like, I miss that more because I'm like,
oh yeah.
I'm more of like a dude you would rather meet than be like, all right, it's just another.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I've heard that the Zoom auditions they're easier and they're a little bit less stressful. But I have heard some actors complain about like you lose a little bit of the interaction.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I think some of it, like with all like my commercial auditions, I'm like, yeah, I would just let me do it on self tape.
Yeah,
It's
have you
easier.
had a live audition yet?
I had a few like pre-pandemic in New York.
Okay.
And I was so bad and not ready for the shit that I was like auditioning for in New York City, where I was like, oh, okay, that's just
unprepared. You feel?
Like unprepared and just like not used to what it was gonna be like.
How would you do that like moment differently?
Oh, I like prepared times 10.
Like just going over your lines and shit.
Yeah,
like
just
that?
like in like actions and like understanding what the other character's saying and trying to like put together what the idea of this scene is and why they chose it and then like make decisions, because it's one thing, it's like to read your lines, to know your lines, to memorize your lines, but like do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to separate yourself, and I was not doing that.
It's funny. I've been listening to Lisa Traeger's podcast that she has about SVU, Law and Order SVU. Yeah. And she says that she's heard from guest stars on the show that Ice-T, he'll literally just walk up to like the scene, and other actors are like trying to find their like motivation and get into character. Ice-T goes, I just say the words, man. And at that moment, I thought like, that's why he's been on SVU for like 20 years, but that's also probably why he hasn't been in like other shit.
Right, but not everybody can get away with that. Like Ice-T can get away with that because it's Ice-T.
Yeah.
He was a dude before he was an actor. It's like The Rock. I'm sure The Rock is doing something similar. Kevin Hart is doing something similar. Like they're, but like when you're like a character actor, like, Philip Seymour Hoffman and Christian Bale, any of those dudes, that would be like, they would probably lose their mind if they heard someone say that.
Is Christian Bale your guy? Because I've heard you drop like in your other podcast.
Unfortunately,
in our other podcast, you talk about him a lot. Is that your guy? Do you have a favorite actor?
I don't know. I think it changes. I have so many.
How about growing up? Like, do you remember someone like inspiring you to want to do that?
Yeah, Heath Ledger.
Oh, okay. Oh, it wasn't the Joker?
Yeah.
Was it the Joker performance?
Dude, I've never seen anything like that in any art. Where I'm like watching this dude and I'm like, I cannot take my eyes off of this. Yeah. Like like chaos, dude. Just like, and it's every guy comes on here and they're like, bro, the Joker, dude. Like, that's crazy, bro. Yeah. Like, we even had an episode on my pod of talking about how much of a douche I am because I'm like, I talk about the Joker. Yeah. But yeah, that definitely inspiring. I also liked Will Smith back in the day.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah. He's a likable guy from Philly. I was like, all right, it's something I can get behind.
Will Smith did for my first name what Kobe did for my middle name.
And your parents are getting no credit. Yeah. That is insane. Wow.
Well, because there was a while there that William, my mom told me that she gave me the name William for no other reason than that it has a lot of nicknames. So William can be Will, Willie, Bill, Billy.
Yeah.
And I have always disliked Bill and Billy.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And growing up with Bill Clinton in office didn't really help the fact of Bill. To me, Bill was always like some white guy from like Long Island or the South or something like that. Billy was like his kid.
Yeah.
Not like a
Billy the Kid.
So it's in the name. And I'm like this fucking Colombian and Puerto Rican kid from Queens. Like, I don't know if Billy exactly fits me. And growing up, my family would call me Willie a lot. But I don't know, you might be a little too young for this, but when I was a kid, a movie called Free Willy came out.
Yeah.
And it's about a whale. So I was kind of fat growing up. So
Oh, that's funny.
I would get called Free Willy all the
That
time.
is funny.
Thanks. Appreciate
Yeah.
that you enjoy that. So I didn't like the name Willie. I didn't like Willie. I didn't like Bill. I didn't like Billy. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to be fucking William or Will. And then Will Smith came out with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he had Big Willie Style, which was like not his first hip hop album, but it was like his first one without DJ Jazzy Jeff, and it had Men in Black on it, it had Miami, it had Getting Jiggy with It, Just the Two of Us was on that album, and he spelled Willie Willie instead of Willy like the whale.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's how I'll spell it from now on. And now I thought that name was cool. And ever since then, I became a Will Smith fanboy because he right after that he did Independence Day.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Men
he
in
went
Black.
on a streak.
Yeah,
he went on a streak.
Bad Boys.
Yeah.
And I swear I was a fanboy of his my entire life, and I told myself that I believe one day he's gonna win Best Actor at the Oscars, and when that day happens, I'm gonna be like the happiest fanboy ever. And if you would have told me 24 hours before he won that Oscar that it's going to happen and you're going to feel like shit about it, I would have thought you were like full of shit. And when he won, moments after slapping Chris Rock, I couldn't believe how little I cared about his victory, dude.
Oh yeah.
In one moment.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone. I mean, his career's not. Do you think his career's ruined?
No.
But he will never. Will it ever come back to what it was though?
Yeah. I don't think it was ever going to go back to what it was, but I think like he's fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
But he was about to be the number one guy in.
But like he's really kind of been the number one guy.
But now he would have done it with the Oscar.
Yeah, but the Oscar doesn't really. I don't think the Oscars mean anything.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought
Leo hasn't had like he now has an Oscar. He got it for The Revenant, but like before that he's been the biggest dude in Hollywood for 20 years.
For me, it would have been like the final crowning of now you are for like elite as the DiCaprios as the.
Oh, I think he's there. Yeah, I think he's been there. Like Will Smith had his streak of Independence Day and like even Pursuit of Happiness and like Focus,
which arguably he probably should have won for instead. Way
Pursuit
back
of Happiness.
Yeah,
it's my favorite movie ever.
Really?
Yeah,
ever.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Did you read the book?
No. Did I read the book?
So then, do you know
the true story about Chris Gardner?
Well, no. Do you know why they call it Pursuit of Happiness and why it's spelled that way?
Yeah, because the daycare.
Yeah, but they left. Here's something I don't get: the line that explains like the misspell. Like you remember the whole thing about happiness being misspelled,
right?
They never like gave that any significance in the movie.
I think they mentioned it, but like passing by. Like Will Smith is picking up his kid and he's angry at the place and he's like, and like, how many times do I have to tell you to fix the why?
But there's never. So in the book, when it's pointed out, the like owner of the daycare center, who's like this Asian, like little Asian.
I didn't
lady,
say it. You did.
Maybe Malaysian. She says in the book something along the lines of like, what does it matter how it's spelled as long as the children have it?
Wow.
Yes.
What a bar.
And that's not in the movie.
Yeah, that is in the movie.
And I thought
I feel like it kind of doesn't give a good look to the like Will Smith.
Oh yeah, because
like in a sense, you kind of wanted to make that daycare not look good because the whole point of it
makes him look like a little like Karen kind of like. Oh hey, you're misspelling this shit on the window. Change it.
Yeah, but like if she responded by saying that, then the daycare would have had a more positive light. Like watching the movie wants you to think that this is a shit place that he has to take his kid every day, and like they don't care about the kids, and like it's not a great environment. But like if she was like, actually, all we care about is the kid's happiness, you'd be like, you know what, dude, like maybe Will needs to chill out a little bit.
I think that was the moment, like in the book, I think it is the moment that he kind of like starts altering his viewpoint a little bit. I don't know. I actually never read the book either. So.
Wow. All that just to hit us with the misdirection.
I'm that type of guy that loves like reading trivial facts about shit.
Yeah.
So I learned that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Book. That's all.
Wow. And this all stemmed from you talking about your name again.
No, I asked you if you had favorites growing up.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you bitch.
Yeah, all right. I would say like favorite. I mean, there's so many like Denzel,
Yeah.
is one of them. Tom Hardy. I think Lakeith Stanfield's cool.
You were like, I have to name a black guy.
Denzel was
Will
first.
Smith.
What are you talking about? Will Smith? I said Tom Hardy because I had to name a white guy. What the hell are you talking about?
I don't see colors. So
Yeah, right.
I didn't notice Denzel.
Daniel
Will
Day.
Smith and Daniel Day.
DDL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have never seen
There Will Be Blood?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I knew you were going to say that.
because I don't like cinema, right?
No, you don't.
I
Which
never
we've
saw-
talked on your podcast about me a year ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm making the appearance to clean my slate.
To solidify.
Yeah.
But I'm proving you right, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
guess.
it's, whatever. I think saying Will Smith's your favorite actor is kind of like ooh.
You said it.
Yeah, but I was like 12. Like it was cool when I was 12. And I was like, yeah, Will's one of the guys.
When you were 12, I was 22
Yeah, you should have known by then.
by then.
Yeah.
Well, I should have known when Wild Wild West came out. That
Yeah.
This wasn't it. I saw Wild Wild West in theaters.
How disappointed were you?
I was young and naive enough to be like, that was...
The greatest thing I've ever.
Yeah.
You were still young enough when you go to the movie theater that movie's going to be good no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of movies I saw at that age in the theaters that I thought were cinema.
Life changing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like that until maybe 3 years ago.
Have you heard this recent trend, like, of people trying to think of movies that they loved growing up that they think don't hold up anymore?
Ooh, no. That's fun. Is that a TikTok thing?
I think so.
I don't know.
Any idea what one would be like for you?
I don't know. I think it's the opposite for me. Like when I was growing up, I watched Pineapple Express. I hated it.
The fact that that's the fact that for you growing up, like that you were what, like teenager for that?
Yeah, if that, maybe I was probably
Even younger.
13.
Yeah, that's
12,
nuts. Because
yeah.
for me, that's already like older in age.
Yeah, but then I rewatched it and I was like, oh, this movie's awesome.
You didn't like it growing up.
I didn't like it the first time I saw it. Tropic Thunder.
Yeah,
I
You
have
didn't
to
like that?
rewatch that because I haven't seen it since I was about like 17 on a rewatch, and I didn't like it either.
Oh wow!
Stage, yeah.
So what for you? Like now that you are a comedian, like what's a comedy film that
Oh, okay.
that you're like that is fucking funny to me.
They clone Tyrone.
Yo, I have not seen that.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
It's really, really good.
Okay.
Jamie's one of my favorite people
All
ever.
right, we get it. You're not racist.
No, yeah, they clone Tyrone. Not they clone Chad. No Chad's getting cloned that movie. The Nice Guys, the other guys, those are both good movies.
The Nice Guys is Gosling and Crow,
Yeah,
and then the other guys is Wahlberg and Ferrell,
Will Ferrell.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There are not many good comedies.
Hot take for me. I don't know if I'm that big of a Will Ferrell guy.
Oh, huge Will Ferrell guy.
Like so, I like Step Brothers. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it was okay. It's overrated.
Ricky Buck, Talladega Nights.
Great movie.
Not
I
really.
love that movie.
My Will Ferrell movies that I do like, Anchorman. It took me like
Really?
It took me like my second watch.
Okay.
My first watch, I was like, "What the hell
Yeah,
is this?"
it's fine.
But I might have been approaching it a little bit too like pretentiously.
Yeah.
And then
You? No.
and then the second time, I was like, "Oh, this is fucking hilarious."
Yeah.
But I think Old School is probably my favorite Will Ferrell.
That's a
movie.
classic.
And then Wedding Crashers, even though he had a cameo in that,
Classic.
that
Yeah.
to me too.
Even his cameo in that is awesome.
Yeah, he
It's
might have
iconic.
stolen the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even like his time at SNL was perfect.
Are you an SNL guy? Did you like watching it?
Not really.
Yeah.
But like I liked a lot of the clips and stuff. And like I liked watching Will Ferrell's audition and like
Yeah.
like
I actually saw that video too.
I think he's a genius.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
So you're a big Will Ferrell
Big,
guy.
yeah,
he's
big.
your comedy.
Yeah. Like he's probably the dude that I'm like, that's the career that I would have loved.
Really?
But now I'm kind of a little bit older where I'm like, I don't think I'd want to even really do comedy acting.
that was gonna be my next question.
Yeah.
Is do you have any desire? Do you think you might have the chops, the ability to do that type of comedic acting?
I mean I think so. Like, did you come out to see the play that I did or no?
No.
Okay, so like, I think inherent like I'm trying to think of the word, like subconsciously I make a lot of the characters that I play funny
Okay.
because it is parts of me that are leaking into it that like I think inevitably they're gonna be funny. They're gonna have like moments of funniness. So it's like I'm gonna kind of have to lean into that. But I don't want to play like just the funny guy. I'd rather play something like with emotional range and like something that actually is like interesting to watch.
so that's interesting to me because you come to New York with the desire to act. You're realizing that you want to explore more serious emotions as opposed to comedy, but then you start becoming a comedian.
Right.
How does that process start? What was it? Just being around so many people that are doing it at a high level that made you?
It's like I think my strong suit that I've always known since I was a kid was I'm gonna make people laugh.
You've always been told you're funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's attention in a way, and like that's kind of what everybody wants. As I hate when comics are like, I'm in it for the love of the game. Like I don't even care about the attention. I'm like, we're all in it for the love of the game, dude. Like I love doing what I do, but it is because of attention. Like just be honest with yourself. You're no better than anyone. Everybody wants someone to watch them. And it's like, that's how you get it. You know what I mean? Like you do podcasting because you like podcasting, but also because you like when they watch it.
It's 100% true.
And it's like, just, yeah. So it's like comedy and humor got me attention as a kid. And I realized that's how I can own a room, you know? So that's what it is. And then when it comes to like, should I do comedy? It's like how I see it is I will do everything and anything I can to just get my foot in the door. And then by the time I have my foot in the door, you look at Jordan Peele, who started as a sketch writer and a sketch comedy actor, and then has now become the biggest horror director since Stanley Kubrick. You know,
I couldn't really agree with you anymore because I'm the type of guy, and I've said this a couple of times on my show too. I'm the type of guy that if you look at every aspect of my life that I've dedicated time and effort to, it's for no other reason than the egotistical pursuit of attention.
Right.
Like when I would walk into bars when I was younger, I always felt like the bartender was the coolest person in the room. When I'd walk into the club,
yeah, bartenders do look cool when they're doing that shake thing. I'm like, damn,
something about being on the other side of the bar, like, and everybody, if anybody wants a drink, they have to talk to you. Like, I don't know, there's. And I've worked as a server too before I became a bartender. People treat the bartender way different than they treat the server. That's for sure. There's like more of a, I feel like when you're a server, you guys get a little disrespected more than the bartender.
Yeah.
They feel like you're a servant as opposed to like bartenders are providing something that they want very much or whatever. The other thing is in clubs, I thought the DJ was the coolest person in the room. Who doesn't think actors aren't fucking cool and getting attention seeking? And then comedy is just another avenue for that. And what do? I bartend, I DJ, and I started doing comedy. And I don't act, but for sure, if comedy opened a door into some type of role of any kind, I'm jumping at the first chance of that as well.
Yeah. Acting is, it's funny because it is like, it's hard to explain because it's like comedy is like you're going up there and you're being you, but then acting is you are never you. You know, like I mean you are because you're still the one making the decision, but like you're trying to at least embody something else that you may not even relate to. Like when I first came out to New York, the role that I had was I played a police informant, like a CI, and I was like a heroin addicted kid. Like this white kid in the inner city of Philadelphia of like a drug infested thing, like sort of like Bubbles, right? From The Wire. And I lost like 40 pounds for that. So I was at like 110.
Wow.
And long hair. And I was just like gross. But like that, I've never done that. So you just try to research and do as much like interviewing and information gathering as you can. And then try to like, when it's rolling, you're trying to at least like understand what it is going on into the situation, where it's like I could understand how there are just some people who are actors that maybe are not in it for attention. Like maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like now I just contradicted everything I said. But like there are people who are like you don't see them in like the like talking or like out like making interviews and doing this and that.
Right.
Maybe the new generation is like attention seeking, but like you see like Daniel Day-Lewis, that dude does a role every 4 years, goes back to carpentry.
Yeah.
Like I think
he literally makes shoes.
Yeah. I would be wrong to say that dude does it for attention. He does it because he just like, there's no pure artistic expression, than what he does.
Do you not feel like there's artistry in when you do it?
Oh no, there is. Cause like, I'm not in the moment thinking, oh, they're looking at me. Like I would be the worst actor in the world if I was like, oh my God, they're looking at me right now.
Yeah.
But there's like a difference between like live and like TV and film, because TV and film you can do something 4 different ways, and as long as you're trying to like secure your objective in the scene, like you can do it 10 different ways and it all can still achieve the same thing and look different. But like,
Do you have a preference between theater and film?
I would do film,
Yeah.
if given the opportunity. Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I really don't know. Probably the tension. I don't know. Couldn't even tell you.
At Stella, did they teach like a difference between theater or stage acting and film acting?
We had both classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there like, could you tell during the classes like, oh, I like this better than that?
Yeah, it was. I always kind of came in doing TV and film.
Mhm.
Like I never did theater until like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
When I started, like I finally did a play, and that's like the dumbest thing I've ever done, because you should lead and start with that.
With theaters.
Yeah, there's nothing harder than theater.
That's what I've heard is a lot of film actors, when they go back and do a play, they suddenly are speaking about it so reverently.
Yeah,
Because they're
there's-
like, holy
yeah.
shit, this is.
It's like the preparation times a million
Mhm.
in comparison of what you have to do to be good at theater.
I can't really imagine doing like the same show though, like 8 times a week.
It's never the
theoretically.
same,
Well, I guess,
you know.
but
It's fun
yeah.
because it's only going to get better, you know, and like something is going to be different because actors can still hit you with like a different action.
So
is
what
what
was
they're
your
doing.
experience like in the plays that you did recently? You've been in at least 2 since I've known you, right?
Yeah, too. The first one was awesome. I think it was great because
Is that the one that Gia
Yeah.
produced?
yeah.
All right. She was on the show to promote it, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it was great because everybody involved was like, all the actors were, it was terrifying because I didn't know what to expect, right? And the one actor who is super talented just like seemed like a wild card. And I was
Okay.
like, damn, I don't know if we're going to be ready.
Wild
like,
card,
or tomorrow.
bitches.
Exactly. Like, we got to do this tomorrow, the next day. Like, I don't know if we're going to be ready. But then just like came prepared.
Huh.
And then we were all like locked in.
Got it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it went really, really well. It was a really good script. Yeah.
So that was a good experience.
Great experience.
Second
yeah.
one was...
The second one was, damn.
You don't have to say it if you don't want.
It was challenging on its own. I think that some of the puzzle piece putter togethers, I don't know. I'm trying to find like a way to. I think there were some decisions that I would be like, oh, I don't know, and then I think that oh, hey, we have the same AC unit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that wasn't me changing the subject, and I think the script wasn't great, but
Wasn't.
no,
Yeah.
but it was fun. I had
Yeah.
fun.
So when you're doing comedy, it's like all on you basically. Is any of it frustrating when you're an actor and there's so much of it that's out of your hands?
Oh, it's so much better.
It's better that
Yeah,
way.
it's so much easier.
Oh wow.
It's I think it's better.
You're okay with letting go of control and shit, right? Like
When it comes to like art, yeah.
like
Like my thing is like acting is all about interpreting text that's already been created.
I think you
and-
made up a word there, but cool.
Interpreting?
Yeah.
What is
Interpreting.
Oh, damn, dude. Why? I think, dude, I'm getting old or something. My words aren't coming out no
They're
good.
not
No
wording
more.
the same, yeah.
I
No
can't. I can't speak more better. Damn.
Go on though.
I think
I just couldn't let it go. I'm sorry.
I know it was really bad. Like acting is about reading a text and deciphering it, trying to understand what's going on and like what happened before this play. Like who is this character? And then like holding on to every single scene. What is my character trying to achieve? Because that's what it is. That's what makes TV. That's what makes film. Is 2 characters want different things, and neither of them get it, right? And like so, every actor, like when you're in a scene, you have to have an objective in that scene. Like I want you to, like, I don't know, tell me that you love me,
Mm-hmm.
but I already know what the scene is, and you don't ever tell me that you love me.
Right.
Right. So I'm the whole scene trying to get you to just be like, I love you, but you never get there. So I'm trying to do different like ways to get there. That's all acting is. You just interpret. Holy shit. Interpret text. But comedy, you have to make it.
Yeah.
Like you have to write it.
You have to write it first.
You have to
yeah.
know who you are. You have to know what's funny. You have to like gauge the audience and like work it and work it and work it. So it's like it's so much different. Not even remotely.
Is that a process that you don't really enjoy
in comedy?
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I think I enjoy it more now than I used to. Now that I'm trying to like, I'm kind of understanding what's funny about me, maybe, but it calls for like massive self-awareness and like just bad product for a lot. You just have to accept it's not going to be great until later on.
When's the first time you got on stage and did comedy?
Okay, so before I came to New York, I did one show in stand-up.
Is this the Virgin Chronicles?
Yes. That's wait. That's weird. Wait. So who's that? Who's the dude that interviews the musicians? Nardwar. That was the most Nardwar ass shit ever. That's exact. Yeah.
So I couldn't believe, because it looked very much like your first time.
Yeah, it was.
And it's over 25 minutes long.
Yeah, it's 30.
And I watched a good chunk of it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
First of all, again, sleeveless was your choice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It's a bit of a pattern.
You were kind of jacked back then, though. This is before the weight loss for your role, I take it.
Yeah, that was before acting. That was, dude, I don't even remember.
Your nipples were at least covered this time.
A little bit.
But sleeveless,
nice.
It was a choice again.
Yeah, it was definitely the choice.
Dude, how the fuck does someone who never does comedy go on stage and do a 30-minute set with its own title already?
Yeah, I think because you never did comedy. It's easier to do 30 minutes and never doing comedy than 5 minutes and never doing comedy. You have so much more time to mess around with and like figure it out. And
was that something you had written out before?
I just had 4 stories I knew I wanted to tell.
So I was gonna say it felt very much like a one-man show in a way. And it was like sometimes I saw it with this. I'm a big fan of pro wrestling, and there's this ex-wrestler Mick Foley that he's a funny guy, and he goes around tour. And he skirts around the notion of calling himself a comedian and calling it a comedy act by just saying that it's a story session,
one man show,
right? Yeah. Oh, so just a one man show of stories. But his goal is to be funny at times, but at times emotional or whatever. And it felt like very much like that. Where you were, it wasn't so emotional, but you were just going from. It was free. It felt like free telling stories. Yeah, one man show-ish.
I had no idea what I was doing.
The fact that you're saying that was before your acting surprises me, because it felt like I see an actor in there when I'm watching the Virgin Chronicles. Isn't this bugging you out that I'm talking about this?
It's so funny. We keep calling that.
I haven't heard that. The title of your show.
It was the show. Yeah, that's so funny.
So what went into putting together the Virgin Chronicles?
I just signed up for a class that you would have to put together like a sketch show or like some type of variety thing. Okay. And each person had their own night or whatever. And I was like, I'm just going to do stand up.
Wow.
So
it had to be that long, at the 30-minute.
Yeah, you had to hit 30-minute mark.
So like I'm watching the Virgin Chronicles and I'm thinking, I swear to God.
You're doing it on purpose now.
Yeah. I'm watching the Virgin Chronicles and I swear I had this thought. Verbatim. The balls on this guy to do a 30-minute set his first time out.
Yeah, well, it's only ever going to get easier, I guess.
I guess so.
You know.
And you had these 4 stories. Did you did you write them out at some point? It was just you knew what 4 stories you were going to tell. Yeah. Are these stories that like,
even if I wrote them out, it wouldn't have been good. I didn't know how to write a joke. I still don't.
Is this just you knowing like, all right, people have told me I'm a funny guy. I have at least 4 stories in the chamber that I know I can tell in a humorous way. Is that basically what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me give it a try.
Did you put them like in an order thinking like this is my closing joke or whatever? Or
I did, but then I ran out of time.
I was about to say, it looked like they wrapped you up. Did you not finish the way you wanted to?
No, I still think I had like a story and a half.
Cause I very much felt like at the end you like said one more sentence and I feel like
I was like, oh wait, that's the light? Like what does that mean?
Yeah, and it was funny because like you were on this I guess it's a joke or part of the story about how you think you might your brother says, oh, you have HIV.
Yeah.
And then
I don't. For the listener or viewer, I do not.
the whole I guess bit. One of your first bits is that like someone called back from like the clinic and left you a voicemail and is like call back as soon as possible.
Yep.
And that sounds terrible. And your brother's like, oh, you have
Yeah.
HIV, you have AIDS, and you call back and she's like, everything's fine.
Yep.
And then someone off camera is telling you wrap it up.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh, he's getting the light. And then everyone starts laughing and I'm like, oh, it was a condom joke. And then you're like giving into the condom joke and then actually wrap yourself up. And I'm like, oh no, he was getting the light.
Oh yeah. I do remember that now that you say that. Wow. Did you watch this recently?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a crazy find.
I was trying to find if like maybe you had some IMDb credits or something like that. But yeah, I found it.
And it's to say politely no is the response to what Will said.
But I was able to find, I think, like your back door or your backstage.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called. Yeah.
Oh wow, is that on there?
It's on there.
Wow, that is. I
along
need
with
to update
your
that bad boy.
along with your reel.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is also, what year did that say it was?
I
2021.
think it's 2020.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So I saw the reel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How young did I look?
Really young. The thing is, like, even in the 2 years I've known you, like your face, you're growing out your hair and allowing the beard to grow out changes your look like a lot.
Yeah, entirely.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that in and of itself, but like, yeah, you look very different from the younger videos and pictures I see.
That's so funny. All the indie stuff that I did and the NYU projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stuff was actually like, you actually really, it pissed me off that you got to me a little bit emotionally.
Wow, really?
In your reel when you're in bed.
Oh yeah, that was
I think it's called Dreams.
The first film I ever did.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, you sold me. Like,
Thanks.
I don't know what was going on, but like something's in your head and it's bothering you. And I had to tell myself today as I watched it, because it made me feel a little like sad. And I had to tell myself, everything's fine, Will. You're having a good day.
Yeah. That was also 4 years ago. And wait, so the funny story with that is the first ever scene I've ever shot on screen. We had to take like 12 or 13 takes of it.
Okay.
And it was a scene of me and this girl walking into a party and making out. And take one, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be sick, dude. Like, let's rip. And then by take 13, I'm like, honestly, like, I don't even think actors should kiss. This is exhausting.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, it numbed me to that instantly.
Wow.
Instantly. I was like, God damn,
this
dude.
sucks.
Every single, like, here, all right, walk 12 steps, turn around, kiss in the kitchen, make out for like 3 seconds. And I was just like, can we not do this again? How are we not
13
getting this?
takes.
Yeah, we did
What
a
were you
bunch
not
of takes.
getting right?
It was just, we were like, everyone was a kid working on it. So like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
It was exhausting.
This was a short film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So so in your first role, you had a makeout scene and a bed scene. Not a sex scene, but a bed scene, an intimate scene.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've ever done like super, like, I think that was probably the most intimate. I mean, I've been in like rom-coms of like me and like another like love lead and like we'll kiss and stuff, but never like that, you know.
Man, you just jump into shit like in the deep end. A 30-minute comedy routine and then make out session on your
I'm just
first
happy
take.
to be there. Like, thanks for picking me. I'll do whatever the hell you need me to do. Harvey.
So even before the Virgin Chronicles, no nerves.
I was definitely nervous.
Okay.
I think I'd probably be lying if I wasn't. Like, I still get nervous before I go on stage, but the moment I'm on it, I'm like, it's fine. The moment I hear a first laugh.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? That. Yeah. Like, the most nervous I've ever been was Portugal.
And I definitely wanted to ask you about that. Let's just get into it.
Yeah.
You and Jack, co-producer of Hill to Die On, went to Portugal, and randomly at the same time, one of our cellar comedians was over there, right?
Yeah. We knew before we were going there, but like the week of that we found out.
The week of.
Yeah.
It was Rafi?
Yeah.
Rafi Bastos? So then, all right, tell me how did this all come about? What happened?
So I was working downstairs, Jack was working upstairs, and Val, the manager at the cellar.
By the way, what that means is that downstairs is you're working the comedy club, upstairs is you're working the cafe.
That's why he has a podcast, guys. Yeah, so I'm in the cellar, and Jacqueline is upstairs in the cafe, talking to Rafi, and Val, the manager, was like, "Oh, Rafi, like you're going to Portugal, right? Like you're going to go to Portugal next week or whatever." And he was like, "Yeah, like I'm actually like I'm still looking for an opener." And Val was like, "Wait, like I think Jack and Greg might be there soon. Like maybe you can ask them." And then we connected dates, and he was like, "Do you want to open?" And I was like, "Yeah." Are you kidding me?
I had no idea Val was kind of the.
She was the facilitator. She hooked it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So our last day in Portugal was his show. So then we went back to Lisbon, did the show, and then went home the next day.
So you're having like, because you had never been to Europe, right?
No.
So you're having like probably the greatest vacation of your life.
Yeah.
And you end
But it is also weird. Like greatest vacation ever. It was awesome. But like having it on the last day also does kind of like, I think it's better because you get to build like what do people here know?
Okay.
Like American culture wise, what can I say? What do I have to sub out?
Yeah.
You know? But also like it does kind of make you think like shit, 9 more days, 8 more days.
Right.
It's tomorrow. You know?
I didn't think about it that way
Yeah.
because I'm like in my head I'm thinking what a way to end your vacation. But now also it's like you have to think about that show for the entire vacation.
Yeah, and we really didn't because we had so much other stuff we were doing. But like towards the last 2 days, it was like, all right, let's lock in. Like, let's really try to think about it. And we also knew what we were gonna do. It was only 15-minute sets too, so it was like wasn't like something I've never done before.
You've done the Virgin Chronicles.
The Virgin Chronicles.
Yeah.
Do not watch that.
Might be the name of this episode.
Wow, really?
Honestly.
That would honestly make a lot of sense. Yeah, but
See, I'm still early enough in my comedy career where I get really nervous before like anything, like even open mics still. So I wonder if I was like in Portugal for 9 days, if I would even be able to enjoy the trip as much as I'd want to.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like what I've learned too about comedy, especially I've only been doing it for like almost 3 years, like 2.5 years, I guess. Every time you look back on something you did a year ago, you look and you're like, I'm so much better now than I am then. So it's like, it doesn't even really matter.
How big was that venue in Portugal?
It was like 500 people.
Damn.
It was, dude, it was nuts.
Yeah.
It was nuts. It was crazy. And it's like, people are taking off work to come and see this. Like their date nights with their wives. English is extremely good in Portugal. Like there's not a language barrier if you speak a little bit slower because it is a bigger audience. Like everything translates. They get everything you're saying.
Is that something that Rafi spoke to you about before? Like, don't worry, your English is going to translate just fine here.
Yeah, he was like, English is going to be pretty solid. But I also
Rafi's a Brazilian comedian, but they speak Portuguese, so he's.
But
huge
his
in
set was in
Portugal, too.
English.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Because he was working his whole like English hour.
So he probably loved that it was two Americans on tour.
Yeah. They knew what to expect. Like everyone there obviously knows English because they knew what was going to happen. You know, with Rafi, so it made it easier. But also, like I remember, I got 2 applause breaks in 15 minutes, which up until that point I've never accomplished. I mean, like that's ridiculous. And then I came to Brooklyn the next day and I bombed at an open mic, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna move back. Like this isn't working.
To where you're appreciated.
Yeah, I opened the show, and this is an honest thing. It's not just a joke. This is honest. I opened the show by being like, yo, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but like on the flight here, I actually learned that Portugal is not in South America. So, which works too, because I'm overseas and everyone's like that dumb American.
Yeah,
and
that's
a
great way to
dumb. So
open,
it's like,
open and kind of like just.
I pandered so
yourself.
hard because I was like, I had plans to go to like the hills in Argentina. I had like that, and it was working. And then I was like, but you know what, dude? Like, fuck Messi. Ronaldo's the best ever.
That's great.
And they lost it. And I was like, this is gonna be easy.
You
I told him, I was like,
pandering.
you guys are way too easy. Like way too easy. Yeah. Pandered really hard because I hosted it too. So I was the first one up.
Yeah.
And then introduced Jack, who introduced Rafi.
Man, what a cheat code it is to just work at the Cellar and see so many great hosts, and some that maybe you don't want to emulate as much, just night after night.
Yeah,
like, that had to help you a lot.
Like I think the stuff that like really helps, because so much of it's trial and error. You're just gonna have to go out there and learn on your own. Doesn't matter what somebody says to you. You have to figure it out. I think a lot of like it's the more in-depth details that some comics say. Like I remember I was talking to Asmus. I'm like, yo, I'm doing this theater. Like, would you have any advice? And he was like, give every punchline like an extra second. Like let everything hit the back. Like take your time a little bit.
Who gave you this advice?
Jeffrey Asmus.
Oh, okay.
So it's like things like that you know, that make a huge difference when it comes to performing in front of bigger audiences that I would never think of, and I wouldn't know until I, you know.
It's smart, tangible advice. It's not like go out there and have fun. What the fuck are you going to do with that?
Right,
you know, like, but that's
enjoy
something...
the moment.
Yeah,
okay, but like, let's make the moment good, you know?
I can't enjoy it if it's bad. Yeah. So, I remember when you came back from that trip, you were like, that was your greatest set, or like your greatest show yet.
Yeah.
But then you recently went on tour.
Tour is so funny.
But it's not a lie. A weekend tour is a tour.
Yeah, a road. We went on the road.
And you called one of those sets the best that you've had ever. What? Tell me about that one and what made that one so great? Because it's like night and day difference fucking between Portugal and this show.
Yeah.
Right? Where was this one and
Portugal
why?
was easy.
Okay.
It sets you up to do well. You know, I think anybody could have gone on that show and have done okay.
Okay.
But this past weekend was hard. Like, this was the hardest place you could go and do comedy. And like these, like, so our Friday night,
where was that?
Friday night we went to Bealton, Virginia, which no one knows exists. People don't live there. The closest like area was like 40 minutes to Fredericksburg, Virginia. So there's 87 people in this winery, and it's like the Trumpiest place you've ever been in. Like, I felt like I took a time machine back to 1776. Like, these people were...
When America was great.
Right, when America... Even, like, there were 4 black dudes there, and I was like, they are all Lakeith Stanfield and Get Out. Like, they're all past the brainwash. I'm like, I wanted to get, like, a teacup and try to reverse it on them. I was like, guys, get out.
Get out.
Get out. This is not... Bro, what? All had Second Amendment stickers, like, all voted. Like, they was just very gun heavy. And that was a 17-minute set that I did. I wasn't my best set, but I had my favorite moment of comedy yet, where I was like in the 11th minute mark or whatever. I was like, what do you guys do for fun? And they were like, we hunt. And I was like, but like, what do we hunt? And some lady front right yells out, anything that moves. And I was like, that's an unreal answer. A couple of minutes go by, 6 minutes go by. I'm on my last joke. I'm not even at the punchline yet. And there's this other lady, front left, not the same lady, but another lady in the front row starts snorting really, really loud. And I'm like, everyone notices it. I let it die. And I'm like, be careful. Someone here might shoot you. So she starts cracking up, and that one murders, right? But then she stands up and she gets on stage. She walks on stage, she looks me in the eye, and she gives me a hug. And I've said nothing. Like, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy behavior, dude. No one in New York does that.
No.
Honestly, I don't even know if other comics allow that.
Sure.
But I'm so non-confrontational, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, if it was a guy, maybe I would be like a little more like, oh, you know, because she was this tiny little older woman. And then the moment she sits down, I was like, that's the closest I've ever felt to Will Smith. And then that pop was just like unreal, especially to win over that audience, because my New York, my material of like trying to break down what masculinity is and like, oh, like what is a man's man? Like, I'm not a fighter, does not align with what they think at all. Like, everyone there has a gun. Like, they're showing you, like, those people are just like, we are not the same. So in order to kill like that, I was like, oh, that was a big moment. And then Saturday we did Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, which is like an hour from where I went to school in Shippensburg, and I did a half hour, which was wild. That was cool.
And you feel like you got more out of these 2 shows than you probably ever have.
Yeah,
before.
It's just the road, dude. Like, doing it outside of New York is like the most valuable thing you could do. I wish I could do it more. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's the goal, right?
Right. Yeah. I wish that opportunity. I don't even need to get paid. I didn't get paid. I'm just trying to. I mean, we did, but we gave all the money. We spent all of it that night. So,
sure,
you know, what are you gonna do? But yeah, I just want to go out and do comedy. Especially like a goal of mine is this summer to tape a half hour.
Okay.
Which is my ultimate 2025 goal, is this summer to tape 30 minutes. So to be able to go out on the road and do a half hour and see how much of a half hour I have, which I probably had. I had 24 minutes of like jokes flowing, and then I did 7 minutes of crowd work. So now I'm like, okay, I have 24 minutes that I can edit and change and improve and expand upon to cut 7 minutes out. Right. To make 30 minutes of material rather than 25.5.
Sure.
You know?
And that's what you hear all the comedians like say, is that you can't just do bits and comedy that works in one place. Like, you have your 5 minutes
Universal.
your 5 minutes in New York might not be a tight 5 in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
we will not.
so you go into a place like that had to feel good, like knowing like, all right, these jokes, like I've got something here.
Yeah, and like it just like knowing that you as a person is funny. Like that's really what you learn.
Yeah.
Because it's like even though we don't align, like you don't even really understand what I'm saying. Like I could, if I have to, branch off a bit and we'll still have a fun time. Like we'll still laugh and because you think I'm a funny person.
Right.
Yeah.
I struggle a lot with imposter syndrome. Do you ever?
No.
Damn.
I'm probably the opposite.
Well, what a good way to approach, like that's why you're not as nervous as.
Yeah, it's gotten me in trouble. I mean, like I've had moments where I've bombed because I'm like, screw my material. Let me just riff on this thing that worked once and let me just keep going. But you learn from that. I think if you can at least have the opposite of it and remain disciplined, then that's the sweet spot.
Well, you told me that a lot of times you prefer to come up with your bits on the spot on the mic, like
in mics, open
mics. Yeah. Whereas me, like I'm when I go to the open mic, I'm trying out something that I've like written very specifically beforehand, and then I'll make the changes. Like,
you need to feel loose though, so it's like I think having that joke written down and then doing it is great, but also trusting yourself if there's a tag that you want to try right after.
Right, yeah.
Like that's so much of what mics are, is like just taking
tend
a
to
premise
find
that
tags
works
more
then,
in like the actual real life situation, like in when actually doing a show or something, or like I'll tend to find tags a little bit more, and I think it's because I'm more in the moment or anything.
and also just like really like you can't run from it. There's no distraction. You have to think about it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I like using mics. Like mics sometimes, like I'll start with a joke I know works. Something maybe short or something that gets attention, and then everyone's like, okay, let's listen to this guy. And now I'm going to use my time to try to figure out what I want to work on.
If anyone's confused, mics, open mics, like when we just go and try our new shit in front of other comedians or whatever. But yeah.
But, you know, it's all just trial and error. Just trying to figure something out.
How are you going to try to get yourself on the road a little bit more? Any ideas?
That's a good question. Well, if my friend ever goes again, I would love to go with him.
Yeah. That's how you got these gigs. Like someone else got the gigs over there. Yeah.
I feel like I've also just like applied to some festivals to see what we can do there.
You have like a manager or something, right? Or...
I have 2 agents, but they're not for comedy.
Oh, okay.
Everything comedy is on my end.
Your own.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, just try to like get stage time. Like right now, it's like I'll do anything. Like I'm hosting a show tonight with Grace.
Yeah, I saw that.
We're co-hosting our friend's show. So literally just any stage time. I'm trying to.
Didn't you get like this opportunity because of the podcast? Was it did the guy running it not see that like Grace now hosts a podcast with someone and was like, oh, let's get.
Oh no, no. We knew her. Like we were good friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she thought it would be fun. Like
so,
she knew about the pod.
Let's wrap up on this. The podcast, the Hill to Die On, long time coming, kind of, right?
Long time coming. It's been like a year plus in thought, and then
before even
I mean, Grace and I were friends, but we weren't like good friends.
Okay,
like we hung out a couple of times, and then we just had this one night where at my show was like arguing about whether or not Grace Lobo can kill a bobcat with her bare hands, which is absolutely fucking insanity because obviously she cannot. She has no physical ability to kill a bobcat. And then we argued about it, and I was like, oh, like that's something funny. Like when I went home, I was like, that's something funny. Like, oh, like could be a good podcast. And then she was also thinking that we didn't come into contact talking about it at all until like a year later, and she was like, oh wow, would you do a podcast? And I was like, dude, I've been thinking about
She's the one that brought it up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And you were already thinking like she'd be a good, because I remember you were asking me early on, just kind of picking my brain about podcasting, and before you ever even started, you knew that you didn't want to do it with Jack, that you wanted to do it with someone else.
Yeah.
Is that because you had her in mind already? Like from
yeah, I think Grace worked with this. Also, I've done enough with Jack. Like we run everything together. There needs to be something that we can do separately.
Speaking of running things with her, is New Kids Comedy coming back?
Hey, 2027. Watch out. No, I mean, I don't know. Maybe. We don't have a venue, and we kind of put it on the back burner because Jack and I have been writing like a TV series.
Oh, okay.
That's taken about a year now doing it.
Okay.
With the thought that I've had in mind since before I met Jack, which is wild.
Wow.
So, and we're literally 2 scenes away from finishing the pilot, and we've done the treatment. We have 3 season arcs. We've done. I am telling you, there's nothing I've been more proud of as a person than this.
Okay.
So it's like, hopefully one day this is done, and then we can at least put it in like a pocket, try to pitch it.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, is this something that you want to try to do on your own on like some independent film type of thing?
No,
or you want to.
We can't. So it's gonna be animated.
Oh, okay,
is
cool.
The thought. It's gonna be an animated show, and I'm just gonna try to pitch it or find something to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Any way you can get your foot in the door, whether it's comedy.
And
or
Jack
acting
is
and writing.
a ridiculous writer.
She used to read screenplays as part of her
they
job.
clone
right?
Tyrone.
That's when I first heard about
read
this
that,
movie
and
being
edited
good.
it before it hit Netflix. Yeah, she knows, bro. Her mind when it comes to how to make a movie or a TV show work is beautiful.
Jack said that They Clone Tyrone was the best screenplay she had
She's ever read,
since she was doing that. Yeah.
And that movie was awesome.
So Jack knows cinema.
Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't. Yeah.
But The Dark Knight, she's not that big on, right?
She never watched it, dude. I know.
And she knows cinema?
I tried to. She knows writing. She knows like a good screenplay.
I was about to say, you want me to watch something, and she's never even watched The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Is she really even?
I know. We were on a ferry, and I was like, bro, I wish you watched The Dark Knight, because I feel like I'm on the prison one right now. Yeah, and her mind's really good when it comes to that, and mine is more of the punch up, dialogue, funny, big idea, character, season ideas, and she just knows how to make the episode. Like,
did Stella teach anything about behind the scenes of acting, like writing or producing or anything?
no,
or was it just
no, yeah, it was all, we had breathing classes.
Yeah,
if that's behind the
so
scenes.
did you like read some screenwriting books or?
I was
videos?
really into it when I first came into New York. When before comedy and everything, I was trying to write my own screenplay. I was like 75 pages deep, and
wow.
I did no back work, no work. So I could only imagine how bad it is.
Yeah,
but yeah, and now I've realized through like Jack of like what it is that actually takes to get to make it. You know, like the backbone work, like the structural shit you have to do, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like
she's really good at kind of being a foundation for you to just go off and do the rest, because she does that with the podcast as well.
Yeah, she's like, I found it easier when she was there than when she wasn't.
Did you feel like she kept you more like focused or something?
I think she makes me try to be funnier.
Oh wow,
because I try to make her laugh.
Huh.
And like it's the podcast is so about you and Jacqueline for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
listening to Grace, but I know what Grace is kind of not going to break, because Grace has strangely kept it together.
Yeah.
But I'm always trying to make somebody break.
And it's just me and Jack in a room.
Yeah, you two will give it a much easier.
That's funny.
So I'm constantly trying to make you two break and laugh. And
you know what's funny? Like now I wonder how it would feel for me. So I'm the opposite. I've never recorded one of these with anyone else in the room. Like if I'm a guest, then there's no one else. I mean, if someone's my guest, no one else is watching us. Like I've never done this and had instant reaction.
Yeah.
So I wonder, that's why you said, like, I literally went to the bathroom for 30 seconds during our last recording session, and Jack was out sick. And for those 30 seconds, I could hear you saying how weird it felt to be recording with no one in the room.
It's weird, dude. It's weird. It was really weird, because like when I come here to do this with you, there is an understanding that this is what it is.
Yeah.
But like when there are 4 people, it is like, you kind of look for reaction. It's a wider pan. Like, you know what I mean? Like just the setup of it, it's all much more communal, where it's like I'm looking for everyone's like reactions, and we kind of do work together conversationally at times too.
So if we're not like laughing, are you thinking, oh, I'm bombing right now? Like,
but it's like, I don't know. Like but I do, like, I've noticed every time you two pick up a phone or yawn or do anything, and then I say something, and then I say something immediately. Yeah. Because it is like, it's an audience. I'm trying, if you two won't pay attention, no one else will. So let me get you to pay attention.
Oh, wow.
Because maybe then, like, so if I call it out, that's why I like to call out the 30-minute or 10-minute thing. Because it's like, I don't know. It's just something that brings it back down to the center of what it is we're doing. I can't tell if I come off as like a weird, like, I wonder how I come off on this episode.
We might find out from people.
Yeah.
telling us.
Yo, guys, P.O. Box. I would just say your address, but I don't even remember it.
Please
Yeah.
don't.
No.
Yeah.
Do the Lynn Coppolis joke of exact like your apartment to the T.
The what?
The Lynn Coppolis joke. You know Lynn's joke?
No.
She's like, I dare you to come and rape me.
Oh my
She's
god.
like, I'll rape you back. I'll kiss you on the mouth. And then she says her address on stage.
Oh my god.
She's so funny, dude.
Lynn's kind of wild.
Kinda. Yeah, she's crazy, dude. I love it. She's the youngest, however old person she
That's
is.
actually.
Like, I have
exactly
no
what
idea
you
how
mean.
old she is, but
Yeah.
she's the youngest
I know
one out
exactly
there.
what
It
you
doesn't
mean.
get younger than Lynn.
Because young comics see her come in and like get happy.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, someone to party with. Like, yeah, dude. Coffee's on Lynn.
There was one time I was bartending upstairs at the cafe, and like these like older like white ladies came and sat down, and I was like, "Oh, are you guys going to a show?" And they're like, "No, we just came from one." And there's this one comedian, I don't know what her name was, but man, she was wild. And I was like, I know exactly who they're talking about.
Yeah, she is so funny, dude.
So whether it's the podcast or the screenplay, Jack is kind of the one that keeps you. I don't want to say in line.
In line.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
so
in line.
huh?
How many times does she have to be like, Greg, let's reel it back in?
That's in life
Let's
too. That
focus on
is
this.
your relationship, in a way,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like,
yeah.
So
It's big for both of us because like she is, I don't know, but like she's very anxious. So she's trying to worry about right now and like what she can do for this screenplay, like right now to make it like work in this situation. But I'm thinking about this situation as a contribution to the whole product. Like I'm already thinking about like where this character is going to be 8 episodes down the line, and like a funny idea. Like I'll have an idea where I'm like, I want one of the episodes for him to be like, so the premise of the show is it's a dog living in a human world. He's the only animal that speaks in the whole world. It's just this dog. And his whole thing is like, he's always been man's best friend. And now for the first time in his life, he's got to figure out what makes him happy because he spent his whole life making everyone else happy. So I want one episode that he goes to the gay pride parade on West 4th Street, like on like in New York, and he trips acid or mushrooms. And I want the episode to kind of be trippy visually, just to be one of those like Duncan Trussell things.
Okay.
And I want him to be like, forgets how to speak English. So he's just a dog again, and he can understand the dogs. And then somebody thinks he's a furry, so they put him in the furry side of the music, like the parade. So like I have these big these big ideas, but it's Jack who's the one that can be like, okay, I see what you're trying to do with the mushrooms. Let's like, what about the fairy thing? Like, let's do this and like try to like intertwine it and like how he could find himself. And I'm like, yeah, I would never have thought of that. Never.
she grounds you a little bit.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
she knows how the structure of like something works. Like she's doing like interior at night, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, dude, that's crazy.
Pan's right.
Yeah, even the way the vernacular. She's like it's just the things I don't think of like when you're writing like the description of the scene. Like I was doing like, you can see blank blank, and she's like, no, you're not. Don't talk to them. Just be like in the distance. You know, and I'm like, wow, it's like little things like that, super professional, that would immediately disqualify somebody, and like be like an edit that somebody would be like, let's not take this guy seriously for writing like this. But Jack already knows what it's supposed to be structured like and look like, and like, you know.
Does she have desire to be in front of the camera at all, or is she?
No, not really. Which is also interesting to me. Like she didn't want to do the podcast.
Like at all? Like producing?
She
it?
loves doing what she does on it, but she didn't want to be
Involved.
Yeah.
Really?
I think down the line, I think she would want to if she found somebody that she enjoyed doing it with. But yeah, she wasn't really like a on camera. She doesn't want to act.
Wait,
at
you're
all.
saying she didn't want to be like a part of the podcast on screen?
Visually,
Right.
yeah.
But she was always. She wanted
yeah.
to do like producer work. She wanted to be behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she edits a lot. Like
Yeah,
she's been
yeah.
getting clients lately about it, and like she's kind of been killing it, dude. But she works hard on that, and it's like very easy for her because she's been, doing it for a while now. Yeah.
Damn. We are lucky to have her doing all the. She does everything that I hate doing for my own show.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So the fact that like you guys have her doing that is already a huge step up and help. or
Right.
whatever.
I mean, I would have no idea what to do when it comes to when editing and stuff.
Yeah. But we've learned in the past hour and a half that tracks for you.
I can't even. I think my speech was bad in this podcast. Be like, yo, Greg, how was the pod? I think I came off like I didn't know words.
Well, you
Interpretate.
You
I still can't
interpreted
say
words
Interpret. There we go.
Nice. You were about to add that syllable.
I
too.
was. It's not an easy word for me to say, and it's such an overplayed trope of like, guy doesn't know how to say words, and I'm like, that would be cool if this was a shtick, but it's not,
true.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
You just got trashed on TikTok for not knowing what the K stood for kilometer. So
Yeah.
no.
There's also a comment on the podcast's TikTok. I don't know if you saw it. It said, Q, not everyone needs a podcast. I thought that was the greatest comment ever.
Really?
Oh, it's so funny. The one thing I'll say about like before acting, before anything, I did YouTube sports.
Oh yeah.
And I talk about an area where you're going to get shit talked.
Yeah,
That taught me how to
and it was
just
specifically
deal with it.
Sixers talk,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
not even Philly sports, but Sixers.
Yep.
Right?
I would talk about like other basketball teams.
Okay.
One of my like videos that popped off was like the Knicks.
Okay.
I'm like the Knicks or whatever, like garbage.
So if
for
Philly
whatever it is.
sports fans don't bother you, then you should.
Yeah,
be
but it's
alright.
even like I would get so much hate from people and disagreeing, and I was just like, at first I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's like a part of the game. You know, you're never going to be able to do well in something if you don't.
I think the fact that you guys are getting negative comments is a good thing.
Oh, only on TikTok, though.
It is,
dude.
right? Yeah.
TikTok is so funny, bro. It only finds the haters.
TikToxic was more like.
Oh, shit. Patent that.
Yeah.
Huh?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law is a trademark lawyer.
Is he?
Could hook you up with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll cut that.
Cut that? Are we going to cut? Yeah, cut that. We're going to cut that. We need a Jamie back here.
Yeah, I am the Jamie. I do everything basically.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
A little egotistical, I think.
No, I was going to say it's just very on Hispanic brand
That I do
to
everything.
not outsource anything and just do all of it
I
on your
am
own.
the outsource.
Yeah.
I insource everything. Yeah,
That's
that makes
huge. For a moment, I really forgot you wore that jersey.
sense.
And then I remember now. I hope the fucking Eagles just absolute step on their throats, dude.
I
I hope
funny?
Saquon runs for
jersey.
795 yards.
I have this jersey, but if I had to pick someone that I would prefer to win, I'd probably pick the Eagles.
That's crazy. You're such a contrarian, dude.
Why?
You just want to come on here and just embarrass me in my home, in front of my wife,
If I
in
had,
my studio,
if I, on your podcast,
on my podcast.
I'm Greg Melly. Melly.
Melly.
If I had a fake Saquon jersey, I would have worn it. You know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Actually, I am a contrarian because I just wanted to contrarize against you. So,
Yeah, and now you're stealing my
Your gimmick.
heritage
Your
of not being able to speak.
Your shtick.
What else is new?
Oh man, I appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, dude. Thanks. This was fun.
Walking a couple by the easiest travel to my podcast ever.
I walked 8 minutes. So if you know his address, you might know mine.
Nice. Yeah. Do you want to plug your socials right before we go?
Wow. I feel like I should do what you do on my podcast.
Go for it.
Hey, Jesus Christ.
Greg Melly, the strongest man alive.
Bro, what? Did you glue this in?
Are you just there? We go.
Guys, what's going on? My name's Greg Melly. You can follow me on Instagram at Greg Melly. That's GregMelly. You could also follow the podcast that the lovely Will Bryant, Bryant, I fucked that up, produces. It's at Hill to Die On. Do you know? Is it pod or no?
Hill to Die On pod.
That's so bad. It's at Hill to Die On pod. You met Grace Lobo. She is the best. And, follow the TikTok while you're at it, dude. I think it's just at Greg Melly. I got to pee so bad. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning into my podcast. Go Birds, baby.
Thank you. You're giving me your mic.
I got to
Go
pee
get
so
outta
bad,
here.
dude.
I'll wrap it up without you. Well, that was Greg, and you guys know who I am. I'm going to ask you one last time to do me a favor, follow me, like, subscribe, all that good shit. It's the same name on all platforms. It's just I'm Will Bryant. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, X, Spotify, Threads, all that good shit. 3 words. I'm Will Bryant, Bryant. Like Kobe. I would thank Greg one more time for being on my show, but he has the bladder of a child, so it's just me for now. Go Birds, but if not, congrats. Congrats to Kelsey.